I'm muted. Thank you, chat. Professional. I'm sorry, chat. How are y'all doing? What's new? How are y'all doing? Can you hear me now? Is my mic working okay? You found. Oh, I see, Claire. Took me a second. I was like, okay, what? But then, yeah. Was not thinking about that meaning. You've become the officially licensed support lock. Nice. Well, Divinity's silly good right now with Cenotaph, so definitely a GM build to run, especially if you make sure that the other people are running heavy scouts along with finders, because oh my god, why is R2D2's head so hard? Shape's hard. But yeah, this Cenotaph div infinite heavy build's very funny. It's good enough. How am I doing today? I'm tired. I think that's a good way of putting it. I'm just tired. But I'm working on some excited stuff. Oh, I know what I'm doing. I'm not having enough like flat. Yeah. Cool. There we go. It's not literally R2D2, but just I wanted to do an astromech droid shot character. No. Hey chat, it's important. This is a wild concept to draw on the correct layer. Sadness. It's fine. Shouldn't take me too long to redraw it. True hot dog time machine. I should make sure not to strain my neck. I swear to God, if this redraw comes out worse looking. Anyway, yeah. How's everybody doing, first off? Secondly, I'm on stuff. The upcoming couple projects I'm excited about. One I won't talk about that I'm editing for Turbs sometimes soon. And I'm planning on, like, this weekend crushing out Jubilee Part 2. That would be pretty cool. I'd be down for getting enough money to look after myself and a bunch of other people. Yeah, I think the discussion in the second one's really good. It's a little heavy, but it's heavy for good reasons, and I think we handled it well. Considering. Now obviously the big thing that I'm planning on trying to get done this month is Star Wars video with Jesse, which all that really needs to get done is I need to do all this animation. A lot. I'll get it done. And then Jesse and I have to record a thing, but we can only record that once every other part of the video is done, and I can't explain why. You'll find out when you watch. And then yeah, the video will be out, but it's really good. It's a really good script. I'm really proud of it. And then I'm hoping to somehow carve out enough time this month, though it might not release this month. We'll see how it goes. But I am hoping that I will be able to get a video on my channel soon. Ideally in June. Might not happen then. Because obviously the work that like pays me more, that's the higher priority. You know, so. But the next video I'm working on, which I'm really confident about it, and I'm actually confident that I can like get it done in a reasonable amount of time and stay motivated, is a video about Undertale. I decided to replay that this month, and I liked it. So I bounced off the game. Thank you, Sarah. I bounced off that game pretty hard when it released, because I was a miserable, self-loathing, closeted 17-year-old, so not exactly someone that was ready for a aggressively sincere queer work like that. Unfortunately. So yeah. Bounced off pretty hard. But going back and re-engaging with it, you know, after how much I've changed, was just kind of an interesting process, I guess. I've already written the conclusion of the video. The only thing I'll give away is the tentative title, which is considering calling it Undertale, or Despite Everything, Is It Still Me? You can kind of get a vibe of like what I'm going for from that. It'll be a very, very contemplative piece about change and growth and how we see our past selves, and also just like a deep analysis of the game itself. Already cast a couple of the roles. Thank you so much for the support, Desi. Really appreciate it. Yeah, so that's kind of what I've been up to. Nice, mechanical hands. Good senior quote. It's always weird remembering that there's like teens that watch me. Which isn't a bad thing. I've coached a lot of teens. I try to make sure my work is somewhat appropriate to anyone who wants to watch it. But yeah. Reminder if you're underage, never trust internet people. Keep yourself safe. Speaking from unfortunate personal experiences when I was younger. Thank you, Desi. I appreciate it. Well, I think people just kind of assume when people are talking in online spaces that they aren't, you know, younger. I remember when I first started doing a lot of the organizing stuff that I do, which I started when I was 19. Probably shouldn't have in some ways. But yeah, I started when I was 19, and uh, everyone always thought I was like 26. So what I find funny is there's certain, famous debate bro dipshits where people's excuses for them to me when I would critique them would be like, "Oh, but they're just so young. They don't know better. They're just little baby boys. They're just a little baby boy, a little baby birthday boy." And I'm like, "He's my age." Which like so you expect to hold me, the marginalized person critiquing this person, to a higher standard than than the person my age who's acting like an ass? Like I don't know. Not a great metric, IMO. Especially a 19-year-old. Like, you are an adult. You should know better than to say the R slur. That's good, Mechanical Hands. I'm glad that you found safer spaces to interact with. But yeah. Just stay safe. I always worry about kids. um, oh, absolutely. Sorry, I don't trust off internet people either. But I think sometimes people feel like because of the distance, because of etc., that it's more trustworthy or something, right? That's decent, and then we can just do. Tiny bit of shadow work. Yeah, no, it's. I know a lot of Destiny lore. Destiny's a very interesting sandbox to play around in. Oh, I should use soft brush. Yeah, Destiny's definitely one of those games that you could just like sit there reading forever. There's so much lore stuff. There's a channel that covers a lot of lore things, if you don't know about them, called My Name is Bife. That's pretty good. Just because I've enjoyed some videos doesn't mean it's like a full endorsement of anything he's ever done, because I don't, know every detail of the person. Throw that out there, just in case. But, I'm adding a shadow, don't worry, I'm not just mucking up the image. I'm just gonna transparency this in a second. I want to still give it some extra texture. Easy way to throw shadowing. Hey, Vera. Yeah, I'm not even close to animating your scenes yet, but I'm excited to. Great job on the performance, by the way. There we go. It's giving that. It's giving painterly Gendy backgrounds, which is what I want it to look like. Now we gotta color Jesse's R2 unit. So my thought for this little guy, do a bit of a like almost inverted R2 color scheme. So R2 just has blue in the details. I'm gonna put gray in the details and blue on the rest of the helmet, more in the R4 style. But yeah, I'm excited to see where it's gonna go. That looks like a decent droid, huh, chat? The droid actually has a name. Let me go grab it. I think it's H12. Which is a very subtle little nod to something, and I wonder if anyone can guess what that is. Very subtle. It's very thematically relevant to our piece about the monomyth, so that is the one hint I will give. Thank you for the raid, Triss. How are you doing? Hey, Soul Bunny. How are you doing? Yeah, focus on the good stuff's hard right now, for sure. Very valid. Got some nice news. Louisiana. Louisiana just prevented a really horrible bill from going through, which is good. Hey Soul Bunny, how are you doing? Oh, you're holding in there. Okay, sorry, my brain just like, wow, I just like fully spaced and then asked again. Oh, nice. Bloodborne's fun. I'm glad you're hanging in there. I'm looking forward to recording a certain thing with you. Wink. Which we still need to figure out which, like, what video you want to cover in that. Oh, no, I was talking to Soul Bunny about the recording thing. But yeah, also, Triss, at some point we'll figure that other thing out. I have so many spinning plates all the time. It's all good, Triss. Down the blue. Have a good sleep. Take care. Not doing no good. Why does it look so bad? Oh, that was funny. That's an easy fix. Right, we're gonna fix that. Nice. Building a PC is fun. Hi, Stinkus. Come to be pouty because I'm drawing? Okay, good. He doesn't like it when I do work, because then I can't pay attention to him. He's the needy little baby. He has to kind of waltz around occasionally to be like, Mother, you could be playing with me instead of doing work. I love that for him. Just a big baby. I did not see what that notification was. I am sorry. Thank you to whoever I believe followed. I think that sounds the follow sound. Might have forgot. A couple of different options for emoting with the R2 with H12. Just yeah. Width. Let's make it. It's 1920 by 2 is fuck. 2,000, 3,800. $40? That should be 3 times. Excellent. Because I just need to make the Starscape be able to whiz by behind them. For a couple of different shots, so I just want like a giant canvas. Grab my basic star maker, put on weight. Done. Okay. So I've got all the shots for the fight scene done. I don't think I've shown some of these to you, chat. I'll show you some of the scenes that I've already finished animating. This one's a simple one. It's the TIE hitting the X-Wing as it stops. Fires, shot 10? Yeah, this is the shot. Look at that! Look at that! Ain't that nice? Look at that Gendy style explosion. I'm proud of that. I might let it linger longer. I'll make that decision when I chat with Jesse later this week. But, yeah, and even just like this shot I really improved with just simple change, which is the backgrounds moving with them. I still need to add in the blaster bolt fire, but I'm just going to do that in DaVinci Resolve because it's faster and easier. Because I can just, yeah, animate and I don't have to do manual things. And I find keyframing in this thing is, it's kind of frustrating. I find it kind of obnoxious, so I'll just do it in DaVinci Resolve later. But yeah, so the TIE Fighter will be shooting shots and they'll be missing. And then, yeah, I need to animate the targeting screen bit, and actually there's an element I need to draw for the targeting screen, which is when it's locked on. when it locks on, it puts in some Aurebesh, and I can't remember exactly what it is. So take a quick look and then draw something that vaguely resembles that. It's not even legible in the original film. That's great. Okay. Digibrush 3. Zoom in a wee bit. Like a... There. I have added Star Wars looking nonsense. Thanks, Beast Nation. I appreciate it. Oh, what software is this? Clip Studio Paint. Quickly export that for later usage. What scene is this? Scene 176. Target locked. But yeah, so like when it has the target lock, that'll pop up on screen, and then we'll cut to shot. Oh yeah, no, it is a shot. So it'll have the target lock cut to this. The blaster hits the X-wing. We get the sudden slowdown. Yeah, I have to do some little bit of editing in DaVinci, but I'm really proud of how this is coming together. And this is the most complicated sequence in the entire thing, and it comes out to like 14 seconds. All the work I've done, 14 seconds. But a lot of the rest of it's just like a lot of dialogue stuff and more straightforward shots. Speaking of which, let's go look at the script. I'm not going to tell you the script. You don't get to know anything about the script. Well, actually, first third of the script is up on my Patreon, but other than that, you don't get to know anything about the script. We're keeping some of the twists and things, which are used for very specific purpose, and IMO add to the earlier sections if you rewatch those later on. Like it's not dependent on you not being spoiled on what we're doing, but it's there for a purpose. You'll see. So yeah, generally I hate like twists in media or whatever, but there's a specific purpose for having rug pull moments in this script in particular that expresses a lot. So, okay. So the next shot we need to do is on Tatooine. I'll be scene 1, shot 12. Nice. Okay, file. Animation. There's a lot of like detail animation I'm not going to be doing. I'm just kind of getting layouts done, and then I will add a certain amount of additional detail depending on how much Jesse and I want to spend time on this. Yeah. Hey Mal, how's it going? That's fair, mechanic. I mean, it's just practice. Like everything in art isn't this mystical, amazing thing. It's just practice. Genuinely, it's just practice. Yeah. That's. Thank you so much for the donation, Curse Judge. I appreciate it. Wait. Are you the Cursed Judge? Like the YouTube channel? I liked your video. If you're in the chat, by chance. Yeah. Oh, hey, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, for context, Chris Judge is in the Twitch chat right now for people on YouTube, but I'm gonna just go grab that video. I like a lot of your videos, actually. I like when people approach art analysis with emotion and care for what it's saying on that. Oh, Restream logged out, I guess. For some reason. Refresh this and hope it works. Okay. Thanks so much for the follow, Dither. But yeah, that's the link to First Judge's most recent video. I'm gonna have to go look at Twitch because I just lost all of my comments because I had to refresh the thing in OBS. But you got the crux of the video spot on, which caught my attention. Oh, I'm glad. Yeah, for people who haven't seen the video, it's a discussion of games where you play as a ball, and it's definitely just that, and not a really interesting examination of how even the simplest Ludo narratives have been gaining complicated context and meaning over time. How we've taken the simplest possible Ludo narratives and made them have a deep artistic meaning in a really interesting way. I just really like the way that you told that story, and it was very clever because of how it presents it at the start, and just made me think a little of they're doing very different things, but there was a video by Jacob Geller from a while ago that touched on like some related topics, and so it made me think of that. I also I'm trying to remember which video was. Oh yeah, the games that don't care about you was really interesting, and games with unsatisfying endings. I really enjoyed that one. Oh, and the Out of Bounds is terrifying. That one was great. Yeah. Anyway, I like finding good art from other channels and creators, because yeah, I think if we all like lift each other up, it adds a lot. Just a excuse to gush about Trackmania. True, but it was a really interesting gush about Trackmania. It's okay. I totally get it. Like to allow myself. So I talked about this a little bit earlier, but I'm doing a video on Undertale, and like part of me allowing myself to play through Undertale was I just was like, I'm gonna make a video about this probably, and because I have an idea That's interesting. So I recorded the playthrough from start to finish for that purpose, and I'm really glad that it turned out that I could make a video out of it. I'm really proud of where that script goes and like what the end ended up being. Okay, I need to figure out this shot. Okay. I'm thinking of this as kind of reference. But more like from behind. No, I'm just gonna start sketching, and then like once I have some shape that I like, I will. I'll figure it out from there. Let's just start with a. That's very understandable, Chris Judge. That's kind of what I'm doing with this video, but it's like the exact opposite, which is that when I was 17 and I played Undertale for the first time, I bounced off of it really hard. And I was in a very specific place in my life, and I think a piece about like forgiving even really horrible people, like just after I'd gotten out of this like really complex abusive situation and a bunch of other things, and just the sincerity of the art was difficult for my very miserable closet itself. And that definitely like informed how I interpreted the work at the time. And so I wanted to give it a second shot, mostly because I read Homestuck. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I also kind of bounced off Steven Universe when I first watched it. Yeah, the non-reciprocal forgiveness stuff. Yeah, and I'm definitely going to talk about, like, I don't think my views on, like, forgiveness isn't something that's owed type of stuff has really changed from when I made my Midnight Mass video or anything, but I'm going to talk about, like, some complex feelings, and it's some interesting takes, and I really like what the structure of the video is going. Like I wrote the conclusion. I kind of just want to read it because I'm like excited about it. But I wrote the conclusion already, and I know the rest of the structure of the video, and yeah, I'm excited. I'm just excited. Actually, but yeah, I think it's just one of those things where, like, sometimes when we're at a certain point in our life, it's, like, hard to engage with certain works of art when we've bounced off them, or we're just not in the right headspace for what they're trying to do. And then when we get you know, a little older and we have more relevant experience, I think it becomes a little easier to work through those feelings and figure out how we relate to something. Yeah. Like, I'm trying to, like, talk about it without talking about it. You know what I mean? Because I'm just, like, too excited and I just want to speak what the script is. But, like, I don't want to give it away. I don't know. I've never been one for who cares about spoilers, though, at the same time. So I'm like, like, yeah, I'm just going to read the conclusion because I'm, like, really proud of it. And it'll probably change by the time I record anyway, but early in the video I'm going to explain like how I bounced off the game when I was 17 and why I think that is and why I've decided to replay it. That's the start. And I wrote that before I played. Very specifically. I specifically wrote the intro before I played the game again. And then I played through the entire game. And yeah, when I got to the end, I had a very different feeling, which was funny. But when I started the game, I kind of just wanted to ask the question of, like, does despite everything, it's still you? Like, does that apply to me? Because, like, as a trans person who's experienced so much vast change, in my experience of myself, in my feelings towards myself, from when I played and bounced off of it initially, to the point that I adore the game now. Like, I think it's absolutely brilliant, and I love it. It's so good. Yeah, so I titled the conclusion, "Despite Everything, Is It Still Me?" And that's kind of the tentative title for the video. But yeah, that's the context for the conclusion. Undertale is about dorks and misfits who want to see the stars, who want to hope and dream. A story about a community forced underground who find love and connection anyway. I think it's worth noting that many of the monsters are canonically queer. 3 of our primary characters' desires directly relate to queerness, and all of them connect to found family. Undyne and Alphys both dream of dating each other, and specifically to do so freely in the upper world. Mettaton wants his true body, his true self, and he specifically wants to be seen as that publicly. I relate to all of them in different ways, as discussed earlier. However, I want to expand on something with Mettaton. But first, I need to talk about mirrors. See, 17-year-old me, as with most of my pre-transition selves, avoided mirrors. They hated seeing themselves. They hated photos of themselves. They hated perceiving self. Looking in the mirror was alienating. I felt like... Oh, sorry, I'm explaining. So there, just before I start saying looking in the mirror, I'm going to have the, like, it's you type across, and I'm going to have, like, I'm going to do a drawing of, like, if I was in the house, looking at the mirror type thing. Anyway. Looking in the mirror was alienating. I felt like a ghost inhabiting somebody else. And then I'm going to have the it's you type again. Mettaton feels like a literalization of that. He is a ghost that wants to possess a body that feels true to him. And beyond that, he transitions his physical body to a truer form over time. He sees himself, hears himself, is known by his name, and is loved for that. Part of that is Mettaton has hidden his past and hidden away from his own family. He has locked away that past as much as possible to have nothing to do with it. It's a secret area that's difficult to access. It's you types again, louder, faster. But in the epilogue of the true pacifist route, if you go all the way back through New Home, through Hotland, into Waterfall, and get to Napstablook and Mettaton's home, he's there. He's reconciled with his sibling and is even planning on performing with them. He's reconciled that past and current self. He is who he is now, and who he was. Because despite everything, it's still him. It's you, louder and faster. Ultimately, what this game is asking me to do, whether it intended to or not, is recognize despite all the change, it's still me. And maybe in my desperate, clawing, determined fight to not be that specter in the mirror, I've failed at its most important message. To give empathy to everyone. Because I struggle to extend that kindness to my past self. That I need to accept their failures and learn to forgive my past self for the cruelty they did to me. That maybe distancing myself from that isn't the best. Yet at the same time, I feel so distant from them that it's less like looking in a mirror now and more like looking at a mirror then. That dead-eyed, possessed doll isn't me. When my mom said to me a while ago the core of you was always there, it upset me a little. I think it was a bit upsetting because deep down I wish I could drown my past self in the deep and leave them behind forever. I wish that I was not that person in any way. I wish I could leave them locked in a house in a distant place, never to be touched again. It's you, slowly, deliberately typed out. While I was playing through Undertale, when I decided to replay it, I wanted to refute the sentiment, to ask as a trans person, am I still them? Even playing the game, I kept encountering all of these examples of just how little I feel any relationship with the person who played this game in 2016 and quit at the spider fight. However, when I sat down to write this final section, something shifted. I keep talking like there's someone else because maybe that comforts me, but it was me. I didn't like seeing myself in the mirror. I didn't feel like I was myself. I was cruel to myself, and I was that miserable, angry, self-loathing person who rage quit at Muffet because they could not connect with sincerity in a work of art. I was a bit of a contrarian asshat, and probably to some extent I still am. For a long time, I've hated them. I guess because they hated themselves, and by extension, they hate me. And that's why I still struggle to forgive them, or any of those past selves. But maybe that's not a productive thing. Maybe they deserve mercy and kindness too. So this is me giving myself mercy. To my younger self, I forgive you. I'm sorry you're hurting. But don't worry. It gets better. You get better. Or maybe you were never as bad as you thought. And maybe I'm not as good as I'd like to believe. I've always been me, for better and for worse. To the next me who will watch this mirror someday, I hope you'll look back and grant me kindness, and most of all that you remember, despite everything, it's still you. So yeah, that's where the script's at right now. Yeah. I have some strong feelings that this video is gonna express, but I've also got so much other stuff that I'm excited about with it. I'm slowly beginning to cast the video, and just kind of figuring out who all is gonna play everybody. Right now, the roles that I do have cast are definitely one of those scripts that are hard to deliver and like not start getting really emotional. But yeah, right now I have Clark from Codex Entry, who's just the best. He's gonna play Metaton, and I'm so excited for that. I'm so excited to see what he does with that character. And then I'm probably gonna have Playhead North play Alphys, and Kevin from Pixelitz agreed to play Sans, and he like nailed it first try. I asked him to try just doing the like one of those moments where Sans goes from like jovial and happy to just like, I can kill you. You know, like that energy, but still have the like right sort of deeper bubbly voice before and after, and like make that all feel like one cohesive person's voice. And yeah, Kevin nailed it, so I'm like, yes. I have a Sans. And then I'm thinking of voicing Undyne and Papyrus because I want to voice some fun characters. It's hard to start doing that type of thing, but it does help your art in my experience. Like, it gets me excited. I love working with other people. I love having people like do voices and stuff. Cause yeah, there's something beautiful about the act of creation as a communal thing. I don't know. I have feelings about that. Um, well, if you're interested, I can invite you to some spaces. I feel like I'll have to get a link from the mod, but there's a private server that a lot of video essayists that do the same type of media analysis stuff as you and I are in that you might be interested in. I'll whisper on um because yeah, I found like finding that community has like really helped me um and I feel like it just like it helps. Yeah. Do I know the band Big Thief? No, but now I'm looking them up because I'm curious. Um. Okay, I've looked them up. They're going to be added to my list of music to try. Yeah, I think I have like at baseline um I don't think that anyone is ever truly an island. You know what I mean? So, oh, that's awesome. I love a good folk rock band. I love a lot of genres. I need to look up something about working with the 2D camera in this program. I miss the era where it was easy to just find like a decent tutorial that wasn't like an entire video. Yeah, like I think all experiences to some degree are always going to be, even if they're unique to a specific marginalized context, but there's elements that are going to resonate with different people. Um, it's like, yeah, um, not every person knows what it's like to struggle with elements of their gender and understanding that, but um, I think we all understand what it's like to struggle with uh, understanding self, with the um, yeah, with accepting and figuring out who we are. And I think, well, like the trans experience is a pretty extreme form of figuring that out. I think it's still a pretty universal experience. The emotions of it are pretty universal. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, Triss, as well. Like when you're truly an island, it's very difficult because it's not something you can maintain. Um, yeah, and that's a good way of putting it, Sam, as well. I met a lot of people who swear they're islands. In reality, they tend to be more like archipelagos, connected beneath the surface, but all the weaker because they don't acknowledge the bonds. Like, Yeah, yeah, I think about the term like treacherous. Word I'm looking for. Sorry, I just got a message from a friend. I'm just gonna quickly respond to that. As a side note, I love cats. Cats are hilarious. I think we're all made better. That's so good, Cursed Judge. I love it. 3,000 gifts of cats. Actually, one sec. I go find Killian. Ignore that I have pajama pants on. I'm very professional here. Killian. Best thing about Killian is that he likes being held and will make little sad noises at me if I do it enough in a day. So yeah, be a happy boy. I'm just gonna. Hey Zira, how's it going? Big cat. Look at him. He's just a baby boy. Oh, I'm sorry. The wires was there. Oh, it's going well. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, Killian. I had to go grab Killian because cats were mentioning, and just look at him. He's sleepy. I think he's falling asleep. I think I'm trapped here now, cat. Oh, no, he wants. Very lazy about it, though. Hey, can I give you a kiss? He's like, Mother has disrupted my nap. I must march off to the nappy town. So he loves this table for some reason. Just a table I have. So he'll just sit on that table if I let him. I'm not sure what that. Thank you. Whatever that notification was. I'm sorry. I didn't see it fast enough. The problem is, on OBS I don't get like the list of previous notifications, so I don't see what like the notification was. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I was like yeah. It's the funny thing is that the YouTube I have a different sound for the two of them, which is why I was like, I wasn't sure if that was a subscribe or a follow, but they make the same sound, I think. I just don't know how to get the... There's the subscribe. Yeah, I'll have to Google it. Thank you, Curse Judge. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll figure it out after the stream. I keep forgetting to do it, but I need to figure out how to have a notification feed for so yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought, Zira, is like I'd probably have to just make a custom dock. Shouldn't be too hard, but thank you, Easy Mixed Signals, but you don't want to be just like me. I am flawed. You just see a tiny sliver what I present, but I appreciate that my art has been positive. Figure out how I can wow, I'm just like, my brain is just like it's take the compliment. I appreciate the compliment, but I don't know. I always feel weird about stuff like that. I guess even though I've done things like worked as a coach for an extended period of time, and you know, there's athletes I've coached who've said similar things to me, and you know, contacted me way after the fact. To tell me that stuff. I don't know. It's always it's a weird sense of responsibility, I guess, that I always feel to like really self-examining. I just don't like I don't want to disappoint people, and yeah. Fun little self-analysis midstream. What is my channel if not a series of complicated examinations of self? Yeah. I'll bug you after stream, Tris. Thank you. Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it, Curse Judge. I dislike the feeling of having influence over people. That's a really good way of putting it. And I know exactly what you mean. Like every job I've worked, I'm like, why do I keep doing this? Nice, Sarah. That's awesome. Okay, I might do that right now before I forget. Okay, custom browser doc. Which notice. And then I'm guessing YouTube, I can probably just do the same thing. So then again, the YouTube notifications aren't really important until I get certain things again. Browser base. Dashboard. Okay. Now I'm remembering, now I'm running, and then I just... Sarah, for God's sake, thank you. Oh shit, my Twitch login. I'm still here, I'm just hiding something so I can look at my password manager. Okay. Just in case. Yeah. I don't need people getting my passwords. That would be a not good time. That would be a very bad time. There's my Twitch. That. Oh, apparently I missed a call from my dad too. That's great. What a professional stream this is. Oh, true, Curse Judge. That's anytime I have to get money for commissions, I'm like, you saw nothing. My dead name? Not there. Ko-Fi's fine because I can hide my name there. It lets me decide if people can see stuff. But yeah, it is tough hiding name. The fact that no one's found my last name over the last couple of years makes me happy. Because a few times people have tried to dox me and they got the wrong province. So suck it, turfs. And that one random Nazi. Probably shouldn't have said that word because YouTube gets mad whenever... Oh yeah, just... If you're even, like, a mildly famous trans person with, like, any attention on you, they throw tantrums. And to be fair, while my channel is pretty small and, like, my presence is a little bit smaller, my work with other people does tend to put me in the line of fire, as it were, at times. The thing I'm animating right now is for a video that Jessie Gender and I are doing for her channel. And I would say, other than the couple of times that my Twitter account got me, like, mass harassed, the worst stuff I've ever gotten is just from the weird J.K. Rowling stands when Jessie and I did our piece on her and everything. Yeah, it's a lot. I'm just kind of used to it at this point, which I don't know if that's a bad thing or but I'm just kind of like, this is normal. I don't know. So yeah, I totally understand, like, keeping your name safe. Definitely, like, creating content with a queer lens, I think it just inherently increases a certain type of person's desire to go after you. And I think to be honest, like, what I find what I find with most of these people is I just kind of find them sad. Like, yes, they're frustrating and they're awful, and I hope that their horrible ideology ends. But for a lot of them, they're just sad, pathetic people looking for an excuse to lash out at someone, and they've found a group that can fulfill that. Like, the number of turfs that like harassing is basically their hobby because they have nothing else in their life. Like, that's just pathetic. That's sad. Um that's kind of the extent of where my empathy can go, is pity with them, but yeah, I hating other people isn't something that comes naturally. Um yeah, I can hold a grudge towards people, absolutely, and I definitely have my flaws. I'm not some like enlightened being, and I don't think that empathy towards everyone is always a good thing, because, to be honest, at times that tendency towards trying to give the benefit of the doubt to everyone has caused me a lot of harm and pain. But I don't think that means it doesn't mean it's important to try to do some amounts of I guess trying to understand. Because yeah, it's worth it to try to understand them. But often, the conclusion I come to is these people are not worth even a modicum of uh, of respect. But like, yeah, just because I can understand people doesn't make what they do okay. I think I'm gonna draw Jessie's character later. I want to talk to her about some design decisions, and for now, I'm just gonna. Sketching is not about being good, it's just about having something down. Oh, that looks terrible. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Mechanical Hands. Yeah. I definitely noticed that I do get more commendations when I don't have the trans emblem equipped. Because I've had the raid day 1, because my clan did the raid day 1. We did it this time. We finally did it in under 24 hours, and I'm like, finally. Never forgetting the Deepstone Crypt encounter that we spent 17 hours on. Truly a miserable period of time. But yeah. Well, I would say that on the average, the Destiny community is better than a lot of gaming communities, especially FPS gaming communities. It is still an FPS gaming community. So, yeah. And absolutely, Sam, like, learning to approach the world through an empathetic lens has been a challenging process. Growing up in an extremely reactionary right-wing environment doesn't prime you for it very well. The balance of empathy and realizing a line needs to draw on that shit stuff. Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's definitely... I think it's a hard line to learn, but it's an important one. And when you do learn it, that just helps so much. I'm gonna go to be right back for like 2 seconds. I just need to figure out what my dad needed, and then I'll probably come back to stream. All right, I'm back. I'm back. Thanks so much for following, Marmite. It's sad that my experience with console gaming back in the day leads my immediate thought to be like only every 5 lobbies. Yep. Oh my god, I wish I had nicer things to say about console communities, but I genuinely think that like certain types of console communities are worse than their PC counterparts. And part is that I just know a lot of queer people who specifically play on PC and not on console, and because console has a higher rate of 13 to 17-year-old white boys, which unfortunately, just statistically speaking, are the ones that are going to behave like that the most often. Obviously not every single one of them. Again, I've coached kids these ages, like, they're... Yeah, I always hate when people just, like, shit on teenagers, in weird ways. Maybe because I've cared about so many teenagers on a personal level, and I've gotten to know them as people, and, like, they're just people that don't know as much. Like, really. Yeah. And that's pretty normal, Curse Judge. I think, like, and I appreciate you being comfortable with expressing that too. Because yeah, I think that's a tough thing for a lot of people to. We were talking about that stuff about like seeing your past self and stuff. Like, arguably, from a certain point of view, I was an edgy 13 to 17-year-old white boy. Which is weird to think about, but, like, that is the social role I performed at one point in my life. Was it genuine to myself? No. And do I have complicated feelings towards it? Obviously. But, from an external standpoint, that was what I performed. I trolled people in CSGO with my shitty friends, mostly because they peer pressured me to be shitty in CSGO with them, but, like, I've been there. I'll admit that. So, yeah. That's a really good way of putting it, Zira. Bigotry and harassment is learned social and cultural behavior. 100%. No, it is. And, like, I think we were talking about this the other day when we did the stream. Like, Triss and Haley and I were talking about saneism amongst leftists and the treatment of mentally ill people like myself, and how that essentialist approach, the idea that people are just are just inherently bad or whatever, and not it's a learned thing. I think it's a way of excusing having to engage with the reality that A, people choose to do these things, and B, that they can choose and learn to do better, and sometimes they don't. God, yeah, Sam. Man, my kingdom for the power to go back and talk to 13 to 17-year-old white-ish boy mode me. That would be great, Tris. You should do that. And that's yeah, exactly, Mechanical Hands. Learned means that it can be unlearned, but it's a process, and it takes work, but it's worth it. Like, it's worth it. Do it. Do the work. God, that looks like shit. Whatever. I'll sort it out later. Do I work for Disney? No, I don't work for Disney. God, no. Do you think Disney would hire my extremely trans ass? Sorry, I have to mock Disney a little bit. That sounded like it was being rude to you, and I didn't mean it that way. I meant it more as a joke at the expense of Disney's homophobia. But I realized the way that came out was not the right tone, so I apologize for that. Yeah, and this is a really good point, Zero. I don't think all kids are bad. I think that's the age that kids start independently expressing that behavior and using it to signal their positions in hierarchies of oppression. It's how they refuse that or try to be better that matters. Plenty of kids refuse to do that at the cost of hierarchical placement. Yeah, I definitely, like, when I was that age, I experienced a lot of shitty things, specifically because I just, was not able to perform those things properly in the way that you're socially expected to perform them. So... Yeah, I definitely lost a lot of, like, social standing things specifically because I wasn't good at performing being a shitty person, I guess. Okay, I'll do those details later. I think I'm just gonna paint the sand and the dunes and things. And the thing is that, like, lots of kids don't behave awful when they're kids. Yeah. I think it's a big information sponges. They're generally not in the position to deeply question the things they're being taught, and so if one viewpoint is culturally prevalent and even enforced, they're more likely to adopt it. No, absolutely. Like, a lot of people don't really meaningfully question the things that they learn as kids until they're in their 20s. And if they never get to encounter any other perspective, even if they don't necessarily agree with things, they just, like, don't know anything else. to express. Which is why it's important that we provide kids with those other perspectives. I definitely had experience with athletes that I coach where they they just like really hadn't experienced certain viewpoints and ideas and things until until encountering me. And it's interesting just that the thing of exposure is so important. Yeah, exactly. It's the hard part's realizing when things need to be questioned since it's normal to you. Yeah, no, it's like I was talking about with Turb in the Jubilee video, which is that a lot of privilege is just the things you don't have to think about, you don't have to consider, and because you never think to examine it or you're just not aware of it. It goes unquestioned. Yeah, that's a really good point, Suzaka. Framing is such an important part of conversations, and we live in such a conservative society that we often miss that the default is conservative. That's an interesting definition for sure, Sam. And it's okay if it's hard to learn that. The important thing is just be engaging in the processes and the continuous re-engagements and re-analysis that are required to develop from there. Yeah, the more you work on change and changing, the easier it gets. The hardest part's always the start. I definitely had that experience as well, Zira. Not obviously not the racism, but the homophobia, and I experienced a lot of ableism. Um, yeah, absolutely, cursed judge. Um, Yeah. Whereas like for me, and I've talked about this in videos, I was very much I was very much gendered as a wrong, like you know. There we go. Yeah. How's it going, Nathalius? Good to see you. And I think we were so actively told to just like not question. I think that a lot of our current school system is built around teaching kids to not critically think, but to just rote memorize things. Also, I'm just gonna really check for my dad. Texted back. No, but he did try to call. Okay, well, I'll quickly put it on be right back for literally 2 seconds, and I'll be right back. Okay, I just need to phone my dad. Mute. Oops, I was muted. Sorry. Thank you, Triss. I was reading Sam's comments. Sam said, for my own part, I was pretty darn good at passing cis, and because I'm an enormous white human, I was 6 foot in the fourth grade, and never really experienced targeted bullying, nor did anyone I think I was gender non-conforming per se. Even wearing like purple plaid girls' pants to school and such didn't get me shit. I do wonder if I'd been more othered as a child, if I would have questioned myself sooner. Not to say that would be good in the sense that othering isn't good, but in the sense that fitting in the box is enough that people don't question you insulates you from seeing the box. I largely learned to be empathetic and thoughtful because of how I felt about my friends, not how I felt about myself. It took me way longer to apply the lens to me. Yeah, that's really I think that's a good point to make with that is just that none of these experiences are universal, and they're never going to be universal. My experience of you know, the very the transphobia I experienced growing up, like that is specific to my experience, you know. But it isn't a universal experience, and it shouldn't be expected to be a universal experience because it's just my experience, no one else's. So yeah, like I think that a lot of people want queerness to fit into some like neat mold, and it just doesn't. Have fun with the vow run. um Look at that. Fast sand texture. Done. Hey Frezzo, how's it going? um yeah, I think definitely a lot of my experience of marginalization as a kid did affect my perceptions of things and stuff. For both better and for worse, for understanding things because I was trying to get that little bit of hazy effect right at the back. Yeah, wanting queerness to fit into a mold is such a big thing in a lot of senses. That's why I prefer the term queer to any number of varieties of LGBTQIA+. 100%, Sam. Like, I hate label policing. It bothers me very, very deeply. Because it's just labels are tools. They're just linguistics tools. Like I think about the ending of queer relativity a lot. I think about it a lot. And I hate people's need to like taxonomy queerness. Oh, if you do this, then you have to be pan, you have to be bi. If you say this and this, you have to. No. You don't get to tell other people what their identity is. Yeah, it is Tatooine, Athalius, sorry. Like, you just don't. You do not ever, 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 ever get to decide for other queer people what their queerness means to them. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of that attitude, and I'm sick of encountering it. you can't find X attractive if you're Y. Yeah, like no, that's not how it works. If I see one more take, if I see one more take from a 15-year-old spouting turf logic around there's no such thing as a bi lesbian, I'm gonna lose it. I'm eh. It's so tiring. It's like, please. It definitely is inspired by that, Athelius. I am begging people to just for 10 minutes think really deeply about like um what that type of attitude is going to do to them and their community. I want them to think about it. I want them to think about, maybe this isn't the best thing. Yeah. Because it's not a productive mode of movement through spaces. Like, you don't know why people exist the way they exist. Absolutely, Curse Judge. Thanks for being here, and have a lovely one. Go write another great video. I look forward to whatever you're writing. I look forward to hearing about it. I kind of want to redo that segment. Yeah. Here's the thing about Phantom Menace. Phantom Menace has some amazing scenes. It is not a cohesive film. Boy, does Jar Jar's a choice. Jar Jar is a choice. See Foreign's video about that. But I don't hate Phantom Menace as a film. I think it is an enjoyable enough watch. And I think for the kids' adventure film that it was intended to be, I think it's fine. I have my issues, but like the pod racing sequence, phenomenal sequence. The entire fight between Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, and Maul is some of the best expression of character through just physical presence. Like, the amount that they tell you about these characters with how they wait for the barriers to close and open, it's everything. Because, like, Qui-Gon knows how long it is in control, is relaxed, and just meditates through that. Maul paces like a hungry animal. Like, he's like a lion, right? Like, there's very specific, purposeful choices within that performance. So, like, yeah, Do you mean Attack of the Clones, Lefterson, or do you mean the TV show Clone Wars? Because yeah, I definitely prefer Phantom Menace over Attack of the Clones. I think it's the better film. But I also love a lot of elements of Attack of the Clones, but not because they're very good, just because of, like, they're bad in fun ways. Revenge of the Sith is unironically good. I will argue any day, all day, that Revenge of the Sith is a good film. Which I know is a hot take, but I think it's an earned hot take. Yeah, Attack of the Clones, it's fun, but it's not a good fit. Like, Phantom Menace has bad parts. Attack of the Clones is just kind of a mess. Like, I do love scenes in Attack of the Clones, though. Like, there are scenes that I really adore in that film. But that's all they are. They're like individual scenes. Anytime Tamara Morrison is on the screen, good. Hey Meryl, you like some of the visuals in Attack of the Clones? Yeah, there's great visuals in Attack of the Clones at times as well. I also think that, like, Anakin's writing is definitely at its worst in Attack. Anakin's hair is definitely at its worst. Yeah, anything with Obi-Wan and Jango is dope. The last fight scenes were cool. Everything else, yeah, is oof. Definitely, Meryl. The story's making choices. Oh, Malevolence Arc. Meryl, let me send you the Clone Wars watch order that I have. I made it for LK, so there's some specific notes and things in there that won't apply, but overall, definitely watch it in this order. It is a much better experience. One sec. I'll go sec. Where are you? There we go. It's mostly chronological, but it also tells you what episodes to just skip. So it's a chronological watch order that also tells you what episodes are worth watching. Yeah, exactly, Athelia. Some of the episodes are way out of order because their publisher just like constantly made terrible decisions about what they were doing. Like it's genuinely a film with just completely baffling choices being made. A TV show, and that's not on the creatives. That's on the executives side of things. This wasn't Disney yet, but hey, I pulled off a pretty good Tatooine. That's a pretty nice Tatooine, if I do say so myself. So I'm happy. Need to take. Make sure that the undertone looks decent. That's a pretty good looking Tatooine, if I do say so myself. It's clear perspective. There's clear color, contrast. Now here's the one bit that I need to touch up a little bit, but there we go. That pops the cave out just a touch more. Definitely, Mal. Also, Mal, if you want that, I can send you the watch order too. It's always interesting watching the process because like if you jump 20 minutes back in the video, it probably doesn't look very good. Now it's like, okay, now you can kind of see what I was going for. Now to do Sky. That is a blender. That looks way better than it has any right looking. Oh no, my camera cut out. One second, I'll be right back, chat. It's muted again. God damn it. Thank you, Triss. Sorry, I was saying I'm going to go for another like 10 minutes and then my dad will be here, so I'm just going to hang out with him for the evening. But glad I've made progress on a couple of different shots, and yeah. But yeah, it is always interesting, like, just seeing how something begins and ends in the process to get there. I need to talk to Jessie about what her character should look like, so I'm just gonna move on to painting another foreground background situation. This one's kind of, it's like, it's in the cave, so we're kind of going for stalagmites, stalagmite stuff. Oh, I didn't even name it correctly. That helps. Did you know that, chat? It helps when you name your things. Very helpful. Scene 1, shot 13. Oh, I wanted. Please just. There we go. I need this. I want this shot to scroll sideways, so I'm just giving myself the space to work with that. Yeah, and then it's just, I'm just sketching right now. It's not the actual color set I want. It's actually very actively not the color set I'm gonna go with, but I just want to figure out some movement stuff first. So we're gonna start with layer 3. Frame. Okay. What is wrong with me? Why do I keep doing that? Wait a second, no. That's correct. And see. Start. Okay. I just want to make sure I'm on the right track before I draw a bunch of stuff, you know what I mean? So... helps when you click on the right layer. A little helpful. Doing a good job. Figure out the stalactites like my situation. And let's draw it super dark. I'll slow this down a lot more. So it feels more like they're at a walking speed instead of them zooming through it. I love a good perspective shot. Alright, awesome. And then I'll just draw it in and I'll make them all move slower. I just wanted to make sure this idea even like functioned, like how I thought about it in my head. And then yeah, just add a little bit of movement to the green one and the Jesse's character once I no, Jesse's character needs to like be golden. Yeah. Alright, I think I'm gonna head out for the day, but I really appreciate everybody who was here today, and this is a really nice stream. This cheered me up a little bit. So, yeah, before I go, I just want to say, look after yourselves. Remember that the community is everything, and politics are something you do, so, you know, go out and do something, even if it's just a small thing. I'm gonna raid out. Have a good one. Stick around for the raid if you're in the Twitch chat. There's like several of my friends on right now, and I'm like, I'm gonna go with someone I haven't rated in a while.